nasophytal treatment, and there you can see how it works in practice. This is the theory. It's about the epidermis, the barrier of our skin, this organ to protect us against the outer world, all the microbes which are over there. It's also about skin fluid management and the application technique. How do we get the fluid of the amnio technology inside the skin? And I will also discuss a little bit about wrinkle control and skin rejuvenation. Well, I already mentioned the skin is our most this was the issue I just mentioned. And I already mentioned to you that the skin is the most important barrier against the outer microbial and chemical world. In this, I have a microphone, no problem. I hope you can understand it all. Yeah. And there should be a laser now. Yeah. See it? This is your epidermis. And apart from the barriers, as you can see on the right side of this slide, all the microflora which is on the top of our skin and always exist. This is very natural and useful on our skin. We have these dead cells on top of the epidermis. They protect mechanically. And then we have also other barriers more downside. There is the immune system and other chemical systems we have in our body to protect our body against all these external effects like microbes. And for this we have on the outside of our skin a lipophilic environment, and in the inside the hydrophilic environment, fluids will be inside. And also we have the pH. pH 5.4, a little bit acid is on the outside of the skin, also to prevent the bacteria to come in. And inside we have the normal pH 7.4, in which the biochemical mechanisms, the enzymes, are working optimally. So not on the outside of the skin, so that protects us. So a little bit of theory, I can go much further in this, but I left it with this. The message is the skin is very important and we should take care of it. Oh, next slide. We can injure the skin. And with that we have three types of injuries. The first is the cut. Yeah, we can have a cut in our skin. It happens in the kitchen, and it happens and you get an inflammation reaction and it heals. So the skin has a healing mechanism which you can use. You can give a puncture like the vaccination for influenza, just through the skin, getting the fluid somewhere in the skin. And you can have a scrape where only the epidermis is damaged and not the dermis in below the epidermis. And you notice perhaps when we are somewhat older, we got a smallpox vaccination, and this smallpox vaccination was with scratching on the skin, getting some fluid on it, and that was the most effective immunization against smallpox, and that is the so-called scrape. And yeah, there we are. What is the best way to have an invisible entrance to the skin? And well, we have detected it. That is only possible with holes, not with scraping, because from our smallpox vaccination we know that it gives a scar tissue, and when you are going for a little puncture or with a cut, you will also get a little bit of scar tissue because you are going below the stratum corneum, which is the lower end of the epidermis. And I can indicate it over here, we shouldn't go too deep under the layer of dead cells and also the living epidermis. And in this picture you see very nice that although all the fluid is on top of it, in this hole you get a penetration into the epidermis. And this is in the picture. You can have the entrance and the outside and the exit of all kinds of fluids when you have made this nice hole in the outer side of the epidermis. And with the mesovital treatment, we have a needle plate with 18 pins with a diameter of 5 millimeters and length of the needles or the punches, which are here, the tips of about 0.5 millimeters. And this gives you penetration in the skin, depending on the type of skin and depending on your practice, of about 0.2, 0.3 millimeter. By definition, when you are making a hole in the skin, you get an inflammatory response. By definition. This is a small one. So it's not when you have a cut that it is really getting white and nasty to see. No, it is a very small inflammation. And this inflammation helps. Because when you get an inflammation, you get also a post of some components of blood, like platelets, thrombocytes in medical terms, and these thrombocytes release on an inflammation site growth factors, the thrombocyte-derived growth factors, and they are very good in healing wounds. And these growth factors we are using also in microneedling and also in this mesovital technology. Of course, we have a lot of chemistry behind it. I'm a medical doctor and a biochemist, so I like it. So I know you don't like it, so I won't expand on this. But if you would like to know more about it, please contact me and we can make a nice presentation on it. I'm now concentrating my presentation on the mesovital treatment. And for this mesovital treatment, we have 3 concepts. The marketing called it in 3 colors. The blue one for medical appearance, the pink one for young, fresh appearance, and the green concept. I will pause all these 3 concepts and give some clarification why it works. I need some rehydration as well, very important over here, this dry atmosphere. Okay, the pure treatment, pure water. No, it's not pure water. But we attract water. And that is by the hyaluronic acid. The hyaluronic acid is a component which is naturally present in our skin, but not too much. We can give it a little bit more concentration. And the effect is that we get watery skin. When we position this on the right place, remember the second slide I gave you, then it will stay below this lipophilic layer, the outside of the skin. So you get young, fresh skin. And that's what they want. The main ingredients in this mesovital pure treatment is the hyaluronic acid to get the fluid under your epidermis and to have some nutrition and vitamins extra for the well-living of these cells, because these cells are getting more active. And I will explain this with this. When you imagine you have a blister, in a blister you have a lot of fluid under your epidermis. You don't want to have blisters, but it is good for the explanation. This is a blister generated by sulfur mustard, so just as an example, but you can also have a blister when you are walking. And this blister is in fact cleaning the region behind the epidermis. And that goes over the lymphatic system. You can see the entrance of the lymphatic system in this drawing below. And there you see that the lymphatic system is nice, but it has a limited entrance capacity. The lymphatic system is located just at the stratum basale. You see all the red and the blue lines are the vascular system, so the blood is going there, and the lymphatic systems are these white lines. And in fact, the lymphatic system is the drain of our skin, the drain of our whole body, in fact. And all the waste is going in this lymphatic system. It's a grey water reservoir. But it has a limited and the main ingredients are vitamins A and E, and antioxidants like Q10, amino acids, also for the nutrition. Who needs this? The first one was more general, quite soft, but giving dehydration, giving a good, young, well-feeling skin. And this one has more effect. The effect which we have now more is that it is not only the removal of the green, but it gives more nutrition supply and more balance in the nutritional components. And therefore it has an anti-aging effect due to this amino acids. Anti-aging. We should do that when we are not aged yet. So when we are young, and therefore I think it is the perfect component for young professionals who sometimes work too hard, do too much, not too much even, and are not very optimal lifestyle for skin health. So you can have a little bit more treatment, well doing for your skin, having this big concept of the vital treatment. This is the anti-aging due to these amino acids present in this substance. And of course, like already explained, it will also give the oxygen supply and regulation of the antioxygenation. So when you have components in your skin due to the civil work area where a lot of negative chemicals are coming into your skin, it will correct. It will take care that not your cells are damaged due to this too much active oxygen. Because we have active oxygen which damages, which gives rust, and we have the good oxygen, the normal oxygen, which gives us the energy and which is needed for life. Then we have the third concept, and the third concept has even more power. This blue concept, which is called by the marketing medical appearance, has as an ingredient, of course, hyaluronic acid, which is giving the fluid and also the working space for all the ingredients of this system. But it has also, within these ingredients, an hexapeptide. And this hexapeptide has unique properties. The unique properties of this hexapeptide is that it reduces wrinkles. And I will explain how it can reduce the wrinkles. That was a slide which belongs to it. Here, these are the thoughts which we would like to get rid of. So this nasal vital method treatment is more for the elderly who already got some wrinkles, and the previous one was more for the young professional who wants to prevent the wrinkles. The wrinkles will not be as much as seen in this picture, because this is really wrinkle. Next slide. But some wrinkles like it, but less wrinkles. But how do we get these wrinkles? For that we have to realize we have two types of muscle tissue. We have the muscle tissue. I do not see the red point anymore. Yes. These are the normal muscle tissue as we have in our biceps. But we have also our smooth muscles. And those smooth muscles, which are all over in the skin, we have to relax them. And we can relax them well known by techniques like chemicals. This is how our muscle is working. There are a lot of chemicals growing from the synapses, and they are going to receivers. No, let it be, but it is interesting. I can give you a more lecture on this. You know this, how you can kill this. This system, you can kill the synapses over there, blue one. You can kill this, all this chemistry by a toxin named Botox. And that's also why this snake, who produces substances like this, is putting Botox in your skin, because then you do not move and it's easier to swallow. We have to realize this is a toxin, so it has a potential danger. And for this, we have an alternative. On the left side of this slide, you see the normal release of tension in a muscle. When you get tension in a muscle, then you get neurotransmitters. Acetylcholine, small letters, so forget it. But the acetylcholine, they get all the muscle tissue together. It goes in each other. And there's a snare protein, which relaxes after that. That's another protein. So that you can relax, and again you can produce acetylcholine, and you can get your muscle tight. With botulinum toxin, you paralyze it, you kill this. It's blocking the acetylcholine, and nothing is done. Smooth face. It could also interfere in this mechanism. I already mentioned you all the chemistry which was behind it, and when you have interfering components in this chemistry, like this hexapeptide, then it's a very modest release of the muscle tension, and that would help in getting a smooth face. And that's what is done with the AmiaMed version. So AmiaVital does not contain botulinum neurotoxin, but it's a non-toxin hexapeptide which interferes in the formation of wrinkles. And when you interfere in the formation of wrinkles, you have to do another thing. You have to fill a gap, because when you interfere, and this is the theoretical background of the interference, where you have this so-called snare complex, which is over there, which prevents the transmission of a signal from one nerve cell to another cell, with the message to get power on the muscle. When this blocks, you will get more room, more space between the smooth muscles in the skin, and you have to fill it. Otherwise, you will have gaps, and you have to fill those gaps. And therefore, we use the hyaluronic acid. And yes, indeed, as already mentioned, this hyaluronic acid attracts the water, gives more space in the skin, gives more smoothness in the skin, and therefore the nutritional status of the skin can be improved. And therefore there are lots of components, and our pharmacists can tell about all the components in the mesovital components which are crushed into the skin with the AmiaMed, with the Amia system. So in conclusion, and afterwards I can answer all your questions, I hope, it is a system in which, with extra needles, at the same moment, you push a substance, one of the three versions, into the skin, which has as a main task the removal of debris, the removal of all the rubbish which we collect in the skin into the drain, which is the medical lymphatic system. This lymphatic system, which is very, very important for cleaning up all the damaged old cell material, rubbish, bacteria, microorganisms which are killed by the immune system, all kinds of things lymphatic system is almost as important as our vascular system, which supplies the skin with blood and oxygen. It could have an immunological response, so we have to take care to have the right components in the skin. Because the same technology we can even use for vaccination. That's more my piece of cake within the company. But realize it is important to have the